Then we can start.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, ma'am. How are you?
Hello, ma'am.
Hello, ma'am. Good
Hello, yeah,
afternoon.
hi, everyone. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon,
I
ma'am.
will now please, nice to see you all again. And let me share the PPT. Is it seen? PPT is seen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's so sweet. Very nice. So, once again, a warm welcome to each one of you. We start directly with session 6. Thank you for your feedback, and we start once again session 6. The session or the entire subject that we are dealing is training, evaluation, and effectiveness. And with this training, evaluation, and effectiveness, the modules that we have to see are from 1 to 10. The first 5 modules are on the foundation of training evaluation, designing effective training evaluation plans, the evaluation methods and tools, analyzing training data and drawing conclusions, reporting and presenting evaluation results are being done. But if you look at the title, it is training evaluation and effectiveness. The first 5 modules were giving the full focus on training evaluation. We are having the next 5 modules that we need to uncover, which are on the behavioral change, business results, post training follow up and support strategies, trainers ready reckoner and training evaluation, few case studies which are having the entire focus on understanding effectiveness. Effectiveness. So, training evaluation and effectiveness. Evaluation we have done in the first part, we move on to the training effectiveness. Hence, Module 6. Module 6 speaks on measuring behavioral change and transfer of learning. So let us understand this entire module speaks on whether there is a transfer of learning taking place at the workplace which has been initiated by a behavioral change. So what we need to understand in this outcome, the module 6 learning outcomes are: first, understand behavioral change in the workplace. What is a learning transfer? Kirkpatrick, which we are very much knowing. Well, we are moving on to the level 3 evaluation. Let's go by it one by one. And lastly, we'll just identify tools and instruments which have been done earlier. Are you very fine? Can we go ahead?
Sure, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. So, first of all, let me wish each one of you a happy new year 2026. We met last year, and maybe now 18 days have gone by, but everything feels very new. Well, this is there in our thinking perspective, new. And Happy New Year once again, when I wish most of the time. We always have some New Year resolutions. Either they are very concrete, or at least we think about it. We at least have a frame of mind about it. Now, most of us would be thinking, well, the new year has started, something new should happen, something nice should happen. I must change. I must change. This very interesting thought is a very basic aspect of the human brain. Well, when we have done a small study, the top 10 resolutions of the new year fall somewhere like this for people of our age. So, if you have thought something like this, and in 18 days, if it has vanished, don't worry, we are all in this frame. But somehow we want something new to happen, and that is what the brain always is triggering. And the brain always says, I want to find something new. and that is a behavioral change. Behavioral change, not at the workplace, as an individual, it's a part of us. So, when I say a behavioral change, there are certain steps which are usually followed. Sometimes we don't understand, but this usually happens in our thought process. First, I must have the knowledge that I know I should change. I know I should change. Then comes the desire. Oh, come on, I want to change. Then comes the skills. I can change. The optimism added, it's worthwhile to change. Let me do it. Then come the facilitations. It's easy. I just need to put these things together and I can change. Then the simulation, I'm joining in, and then the reinforcement. Come on, wow, I have done it and I have changed. This is a normal pattern. Now, this normal pattern is been having certain influential arenas. What is it? If I want a behavioral change, there should be a motivation, undesired needs must be there, certain triggers must be there. Maybe certain positive triggers, sometimes negative triggers, which will push us to a behavioral change. Sometimes there can be rewards. If you do this, this is what you get. For those rewards, I will have a behavioral change. And most of the time, it is also the ability of an individual to change. If I'm having the willingness and not the ability, then maybe things do not happen the way they are supposed to happen. Coming on all these things, these are the various stages of change which are very, very sure for the goals that you have put. Certain pre-contemplation, then the contemplation, then you need to have the preparation, action, maintenance. These are the stages of behavioral change. Pre-contemplation, I'm unaware of the problem. Contemplation, I'm aware and now I want to change. Preparation, I start the change process. Action, I'm going to the desired behavior. And maintenance, I sustain that behavioral change. If you have understood these things, this is what we are entirely focusing on this module: measuring, behavioral change, and transfer of learning. Can we go ahead and understand the first learning objective? First one is behavioral change in the workplace. What I told you till now is a behavioral change of individuals in general. But what is there in my entire module is the behavioral change, but within the boundaries of an organization, and that is the workplace. So, what is this measuring behavioral change at the workplace? We understand behavioral change in the workplace, and there are certain common disruptive behaviors in the workplace. What are those disruptive behaviors? Chronic complaining, intimidating bullying, gossips, tardiness, absenteeism, or maybe I also, refuse to follow instructions. These are also the certain disruptive behaviors at the workplace. What are the behavioral indicators of unhappiness? When I see at the workplace there is a decreased productivity, the team is not performing, there is more of absenteeism, and there is negative attitude and complaint, I understand my organization is not a happy place. So I need to have a behavioral change. And how do I know that there is a behavioral change in the organization? I just see the applications. Are learners applying the skills or knowledge in their roles which have been given to them? In the first 5 chapters, I have done training. Okay, I have done the training. Now it is the application of training. The training that was given, have they applied? Second, I also see, is there consistency? The application that they have done, is it only for that 1 week after training, or is it consistent? Third, is there relevance? Does the change really directly have an impact on the training objectives? I've set the objectives, I've done the training. Now I see whether the training is successful or not when I see a behavioral change. And then what is the impact? Has it given me increased or improved outputs? If that is being understood, I understand the behavioral change in the workplace. Moving on to the second part of the learning objective, what is a learning transfer? Transfer. What is a transfer? You understand, we are having the bank, a bank. And in the bank, if you are having two accounts, you would slowly transfer some amount as savings. If you are having two bank accounts, you will transfer some amount of savings and you will do it regularly. At the end of the year, you will see the result. Okay, have I saved? Have I saved or not? The same way, there is learning. And this learning, which is a core of training, has it transferred into the workplace? Has the transfer been taken place? If the learning is transferred and it is consistent, result is seen, and that is what a learning transfer is. Learning transfer, you need to understand there are certain skills, there are certain knowledges gained during training, and they are applied on the job, which lead to improved performance. And it is influenced by whether the learner is ready, whether the manager supports, whether there's such a type of organization culture is there where there is learning transfer, and whether there is a work environment which helps in application of that transfer. Generally, there are five types of transfers. Four I have put here just to have a small understanding. But in our no module, we are having five types of learning transfer. Four I will explain here. Fifth one I'll add very slowly. What is a positive transfer? Please note, it is your previous learning will help in the present learning. For example, if you are knowing how to ride a cycle, then taking a two-wheeler becomes very easy. Previous learning helps in present learning. What is a negative transfer? There is some previous learning which hinders the present learning. For example, you are knowing, maybe you are the best person to bake a cake. You are having that particular knowledge. Then somebody tells you, let us start again from this base. You'll say, come on, I know it already. I don't want to learn it. So your previous learning hinders the present learning. Then there is a zero transfer, which doesn't mean that there is no transfer. That is nothing but any type of earlier learning that you have will not have an impact on the present learning, which is good. Then there is a near transfer. What is a near transfer? Transfer of knowledge between two similar contexts. For example, you know two-wheeler. Now you're also learning a car. Near transfer. Far transfer is transfer of knowledge between dissimilar contexts. You know a two-wheeler. Now you also want to learn stitching. You want to learn stitching. Okay. So it has absolutely no context. They are dissimilar contexts, but your willingness to learn is having an impact. So these are the types of transfers. As I told you, there are five. First one is a positive transfer. One learning situation facilitates the another. For example, here it is given, you are good in playing a piano, so automatically for you reading music notes becomes easy. Negative transfer, when one skill can hinder the other. Here I have given you here, you are operating automatic vehicles, and if a manual vehicle is given to you, you don't like it. Then there is a neutral transfer or zero transfer, which means one learning context does not affect the other. Knowing how to cook does not have an impact on learning how to swim. So it is best type of transfer, neutral transfer. You just keep on adding. Positive transfer makes it easy. Neutral transfer keeps on adding. Clear? Then there are other two, near transfer and far transfer. What is near transfer? There is one context and the other one is in a similar context. For example, employees who use Google Sheet are very easily learn Microsoft Excel. Why? It is near context. Far transfer, maybe an employee is very good in understanding spreadsheet, or maybe is very good in putting things in place. For them, life skills, survival skills becomes very easy, but there are no where a context which are similar, they are dissimilar context. So these are the 5 types of transfers: positive, negative, neutral, near, and far. Is it okay? They're very simple transfers. What are the benefits of learning transfer at the workplace? Can you see? Look at the transfer mechanism. What is there in my mind is similarly shifted into the thinking of your mind. And that is a transfer which is very difficult. Whatever said and done, there will be something which I want to say which need not be in the same context. For example, I'm showing you something here. I'm showing you something here. Tell me what goes into your brain.
A dancing scissor.
Okay, a dancing scissor,
Cutting.
cutting.
You're moving something.
Okay, some movements.
Removing something undesired.
Okay, fine. I'm just taking out something. See, can you see? I'm showing you a very simple thing, and you are having different types of learning that is taking place. Maybe in my mind was, see, this is how my mouth moves when I am speaking. Could be, could be. Fine. So this is what is totally different. And these transfers are very, very, very individualistic. But training is one thing which is very systematic and helps the learning transfer to take place. For example, when I show you this, it is very clear that I am showing you module 6 and you need to understand it similar. This is the impact of training. It goes similar way and learning transfer takes place in the workplace. Now, why it is being done? Benefits: improved performance, enhanced problem solving. It will bring in lot of versatility and adaptability, and it will identify transferable skills and knowledge. Come what may, you need to have learning transfer in the workplace. Otherwise, you cannot have productivity going further. To make it easy, you can have skill mapping where all the skills of everybody is put together, a skill matrix is prepared, and it helps the organization. You can also have transferable skill identification exercises where one person teaches the other what he or she knows. And this will lead to continuous learning, which will be a very good impact on the knowledge transfer in the organizations. But please note, knowledge transfer, learning this transfer is very hard. Why? There is a transfer gap. Learning transfer challenges are difficult. There is a gap that comes in. And this gap would always be very, very different and difficult. I'm going to show you something here. Can you tell me what it is? I'm showing you something here. Can you tell me what it is?
Hearing.
Earring, okay.
Bundle of pearls.
A bundle of pearls, okay, fine.
Rock on the head.
What is it?
There is a big stone person is trying to
Okay,
hold.
it's a jhumka. Certain people are saying.
ये कुछ हम गुजराती में तो लटकन बोलते हैं, वो ड्रेस के
हाँ,
नीचे लगाते हैं ना,
वही तो है,
फ्लॉन्ट
वही तो
करने
है
के
वो।
लिए।
जो कुछ है तो वो लगाते हैं ना, जो और
हाँ
भी
पता नहीं
खूबसूरत
हिंदी में
लगे
क्या
तो
बोलते हैं
वही तो है. So do you understand? Certain people who are knowing it
हिंदी में
will
इसको
get it
झुमका
very
बोलते हैं.
easy. People who do not know it, it's a challenge. We understand, oh God, what is it? We have not seen it. We don't understand it. So this is what we meant by a transfer gap. जिसको पता है वो बहुत ही आसानी से समझ जाते हैं. जिनको थोड़ा सा उसके बारे में कुछ भी पता नहीं है तो उसको ट्रांसफर करने में बहुत मुश्किल होती है. So that is what we meant by a transfer gap. What are the barriers of an effective transfer gap? Please note, lack of awareness, you're not knowing it. Lack of standardization, you're not understanding it. Communication challenges are definitely leading to a transfer gap. And diverse learning styles. Styles of learning are very different. We know about them. And that would lead to a transfer gap. So, what are the strategies to promote and measure this transfer? Please note, in organization, there should be action plans. Ask the learners to create implementation plans post training. There should be certain follow-up sessions. Once a training is given, yes, once a training is given, there should be follow-up sessions. The manager should debrief every now and then. Once a training is given, evaluation plans that are there, a manager should debrief, tell it again and again in right way. There could be micro learning nudges being created. You are going to give them reminders. You're going to give them certain no small emails or apps where there is micro learning which keeps on taking again and again. Or maybe you create post training communities so that learners can always be together and they can speak on what they have learned and how to implement it. This is learning transfer. What is there in my mind goes directly to your mind. Then we move on to the third one, and that is Kirkpatrick evaluation, learning evaluation. Now, please note, this is what we meant by the most crucial part of this chapter. It is Kirkpatrick 3 evaluation. What is 3 evaluation? We know Kirkpatrick runs on 4 levels. Can anybody tell me what are the 4 levels of Kirkpatrick? We have spoken it so many times. Level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. Kirkpatrick.
Ma'am, it's level 1 is reaction.
Excellent.
Level 2 is learning.
Superb.
Level 3 behavior.
Very good.
And level
Result.
4, I think,
Reaction.
outcome,
Result.
that is results.
Excellent results. Very good. Very good. Very good. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Now you have made my life very easy. So we understand Kirkpatrick, if you could see, it starts with level 1 reaction. First, when you're doing that particular training, is there reaction? Immediate. Level 2 is learning. Has learning taken place? What is learning? Relatively permanent change in behavior. Third is behavior. What is the title of my module? Measuring behavior change. The module 6 speaks on measuring behavior change. So what is level 3 evaluation? Tell me. Kirkpatrick level 3 evaluation is what? Change in behavior. Change in behavior. So this is what we meant by Kirkpatrick level 3 evaluation. I understand reaction immediate. I know learning takes place after a training is taken place. My concept is, has the behavior changed? Do I see a change in behavior in the organization? And fourth one is results. So level 3 is change in behavior. Very clear with this? So we are speaking only about behavioral change. In Kirkpatrick, we are not speaking about reaction, neither learning, neither results, which will come over a period of time. But I am speaking here level 3, that is behavior. Goal and what is the purpose of level 3 evaluation? We understand it is change in behavior. How do I see whether there is a change in behavior? Is there a transfer of learning into practice? Have I brought in new behaviors? Is there any barrier and enabler of performance change? Do I have support mechanisms? So by doing this level 3 evaluation, whether the training is bringing a behavioral change or not, that we will understand over a period on results. But what I want is level 3 evaluation. So when I speak about level 3 evaluation, the key questions are: have the learners applying new skill or knowledge in their work environment? If the answer is yes, it has gone to behavioral change. Next, we will identify what are the new behaviors which are being seen post training. That means there is a behavioral change. What support systems are enabling or blocking that behavioral change? You need to identify them and also note how consistent and sustained is the behavioral change over time. Is it only for that 1 week or has it been improved over a period of time? Has on the job performance improved measurable ways? If all this is going to happen, it will lead to a positive workplace behavioral change where there will be openness, empathy, ownership, selflessness, and yes, you will lead to balancing mental and physical health. That is very important and very vital. Now I come to the most important part of the chapter 6, and that is indicators of successful behavioral change. The first word is very vital: indicator. What is an indicator? If anybody of you are driving a car, what is an indicator? Can you tell me? If you're driving your four-wheeler or two-wheeler, what is an indicator? Function of an indicator.
Signals.
Yes, signals. So if you want to go to the right, you put the right side indicator, correct? If you are wanting to go to the left side, what do? You put a left side indicator. What does this indicate to the person who is behind you?
It is an advance warning for the
Yes.
person behind them.
Alerting.
You're giving an alertness. You're telling the other person, come on, now I am going this side, give me my space. Now, the same indicators are there in behavioral change. When there is a behavioral change, there are certain behavioral indicators. Now, the entire chapter speaks on these indicators. What are these behavioral indicators at the level 3? Level 3 is change in behavior, okay? Now, here certain examples are given. 5 are given here. What could be your training topics? Your training topics could be training on conflict resolution, training on leadership skills. It could be training on sales techniques. It could be training on software training. It could be training on compliance training. So, when you're having these different types of training, what are the behavioral indicators of this after training, post training? If you have taught them conflict resolution, employees will understand what are conflicts and how to approach them. If you have taught them leadership skills, managers will hold regular meetings, regular feedback sessions. That is a behavioral indicator. If you have taught them sales techniques, they will use various selling frameworks. If you have given them software training, the staff will correctly use new features on that software. Very easily they will use it. Compliance training, if you have given, there will be less number of violations, less number of policy breaches. These are the behavioral indicators. Now, when we speak about the indicators, please note the types of behavioral change indicators are either qualitative or quantitative, and all these fall under three categories. First, what are the observable actions? The indicators will fall under observable actions. What are the visible behaviors that I see when I'm giving a training objective? Okay, so these are observational actions. The second indicator is performance metrics, changes in job outcome that reflect improved behavior. I see there is less number of errors. I see there is better customer satisfaction. So I see the performance indicators. And the third one, I see feedback based indicators. What are these feedback based indicators? People are appreciating your work. People are identifying that yes, they have changed and changed for good. And these indicators, feedbacks are given by everybody 360: supervisors, peers, clients, and employees themselves. So, all these three are the indicator types, okay? Types of behavioral change indicators: observable actions, performance metrics, and feedback based indicators. What are these indicators and how do I develop these effective indicators? Please note, indicators, as you told you, they are the warning signals. And to develop strong behavioral change indicators, this is what we can do. Align your training with objectives. Know what are your objectives and link one behavioral indicator with a training objective. There should be a behavioral indicator and you should have the training objective which should match. Second, be very specific. Clearly define what the behavior looks like in practice. When you say, I want a behavioral change, each one of you should come formally dressed every day, and this should be there very specific. When you say formal, you must very specifically say what is formal. There could be also a step where it is made measurable. The frequency, the quality, the accuracy, the timeliness, the measurements, everything should be very accurate. Ensure observability. Behavior must be seen, tracked, reported. And make it job relevant. Everything that you do, the behavioral change must be specific to a job or organization. So, this is what we meant by effective indicators. Now, I had given you the various training programs which were being given. Okay. What has happened with the behavioral change indicator? Let us understand this. This is only a sample. If you're going to give a training topic, what are the behavioral indicators, samples that you see? Leadership development, you see good behavioral change in the leadership. Delegation is there, feedback is there. If you're given sales training, then you will see that there are better client calls. If you're given a training program on time management, people are using wonderful in their time and the way in which they manage time. If your training program was diversity and inclusion, they are having inclusive approach towards everybody in the organization. If your training program was on compliance training, then you're adhering to the safety protocols. If your training was on customer service, then you're getting less of conflicts and better of resolution strategies. This is your behavioral indicators. Did you understand what are indicators? Very important, and you should be using SMART indicators. SMART, SMART, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time bound. The entire module 6 speaks about these indicators of change. They say whatever indicators you're giving, they should be measurable, they should be very smart. What is a specific indicator? Clearly defined, clearly detailed. See here, de-escalate techniques in 90% calls. They are very, very specific. Second, measurable. That means they should be quantifiable and in clear criteria. Here it is said, less than 1% error rate. They should be achievable, realistic and attainable. Let us have one meeting per week. Attainable. It should be relevant directly towards the training outcome. Use a new CRM software because it is relevant. That is what was taught to you. Time bound. It should have a deadline or frequency. Let us meet, once in 4 weeks on all those things which are very, very specific. Time bound. So usually when you're using indicators, they should be smart indicators. When the indicators are smart, it becomes much more easy. Now, what are the sources of monitoring indicators? From where will you understand that the indicators, behavioral change, are coming from where? You can have the source of identifying these indicators, which could be direct observation, which could be self assessment, which could be a feedback given by a manager or a feedback given by a peer, or it could be even your performance data. Everything that is there is your indicator, and all these are the advantages. Tools we have spoken in our previous chapters, fourth chapter, I suppose, the checklist, surveys, structured reviews, dashboards, all those are the various tools which are just to be helping out to identify these indicators. Are you comfortable till here? These are all the indicators which speaks about the level 3 evaluation. So indicators, why these indicators, three levels of indicators, what happens with the indicators, training programs, and how do you use smart indicators, sources of monitoring indicators. Is it clear to you? These are all behavioral change indicators. Indicators are nothing but they are the small observational patterns to observe whether the behavior has taken place or not. Okay. Now we move on to the level 3 evaluation, data collection methods for level 3 evaluation. We have done this data collection methods. We have done this long time back. But for behavioral change, what are the ways in which you can collect the data and say that the behavioral change has taken place? Once again, I'll tell you, we are speaking about level 3 evaluation in Kirkpatrick, which means behavioral change. What are the ways in which you're going to collect the data to say that the behavioral change has taken place? Let us note, behavioral change requires longitudinal and observational methods. So the first method is observation checklist. I told you what is a checklist. It is a page where you tick certain things which are there or not there. So observation checklist is supervisors and coaches will observe every employee and tick the behavior based on predefined criteria. It is already there. So if it is there, you will say if it is yes, a yes. If it is no, it is rated as no. So these are observational checklist. The next one is self-assessment. What is a self-assessment? Participants themselves will come and say, come on, this is my changes. This is what I'm unable to do. And how am I going to change my behavior? Self-assessment. The third data collection method is where you collect the feedback from either a manager or supervisor. They will be observing the employee's performance and they will be giving you reviews one by one and feedback is given. The next way to collect the data to understand whether there is a behavioral change or not is a 360-degree feedback. Can anybody tell me what is a 360-degree? We have spoken on this. 360-degree. It is a circle, isn't it? Who are the people involved in 360-degree feedback?
Manager, peers,
Manager,
Yes.
peers,
subordinate.
customers,
Yes.
customer subordinates.
Yes. Is there self-evaluation in that?
To
collect
Self-evaluation.
the
Yes.
feedback from
Yes.
all the stakeholders.
All the stakeholders.
Stakeholders.
So when you're collecting the behavioral patterns from everybody, it becomes a 360-degree feedback and you're collecting data. You can also collect data, whether there is a behavioral change or not, from the performance metrics. Once the person has done his job, key performance indicators are there or productivity indicators are there after the training. If there are reduced customer complaints, if the person is doing very good sales conversations, if the person is improving, so we definitely understand there is a behavioral change. And the sixth one is follow-up interviews or focus groups. We understand if there is being done repeatedly over a period of time and understand whether there is a change in behavior, we understand it as follow-up interviews or group patterns. Now, please note, level 3 evaluation, change in behavior, it doesn't happen suddenly. It takes time, and evaluating that also takes time. So behavioral change is to be evaluated like this. You can first see 30 to 90 days after the training for initial application. So 1 month to 3 months. 30 days to 90 days. So you have to observe that particular person for nearly 3 months. First aspect to identify initial application of training. Then you go from 3 months to 6 months to identify Post training to assess sustained change. If the change is regular and sustained or not. Observations are there for 6 months. Please note, it is very tiresome as well as very much. No, you need to be very specific. And over that, there are multiple follow up also to identify whether there is a long term impact. So, timings of level 3 evaluation is you conduct a training for maybe 1 week, but you are going to identify and observe that behavior for nearly 1 year to see whether the behavioral change has taken place or not. So, when you're doing all these things, how do you design a level 3 evaluation plan? How do you put things together when you're doing a level 3 evaluation plan? Level 3 evaluation, I told you, change in behavior. Yes or no. Has it happened or not? There is a step by step procedure. First, you define the expected behaviors. I told you indicators, they have to be very specifically expressed. When, what, which behavior you want. It should be very clearly defined. Second, establish measurement criteria. You are having smart way, clear, observable, measurable. It should be very clearly defined. Third, use control groups or baselines. If you can have control groups, that is people whom you can see, observe, validate, it becomes much more easy. For example, if the trainer who has given training for 1 week is an external expert and observation of their behavior is not done by that person, we do not understand the impact of training. So the training which is there, which is being given, has to be very specific, and you have to know the evaluation of training, which is very vital than training. Identify this third step. Fourth one, secure manager involvement. A manager is your person who is having the real time feedback being collected. So have that manager involvement, and if the manager is not interested, you cannot have the change in behavior identified very easily. So this is what we want, a manager's involvement. When you put all those things together, you can move on and identify a behavioral change. However, there are a lot of challenges in level 3 implementation evaluation, and you have to overcome them as well. What are the challenges? How do you overcome those challenges? Please note, everything that I spoke to you is going to take a lot of time. So the first challenge is it is time consuming for data collection. What is the solution? Use a technology, digital tools, automate the surveys. The minute they are going to put any information, it should directly come to the Excel and it should be directly tabulated. Use a sample representative groups. It will be of use. The second challenge is subjective and observational bias. Obviously, we understand. Manager's interest is vital. But if the manager himself is not interested, then it becomes an observational bias, which is very much there. So for this, you use structured checklist. If this is there, this is it. This is not there, this is it. It gives you a help to quantify the qualifiable data. It helps you. The third challenge is lack of manager engagement, as I told you already. So first is you put managers into the training, planning and follow up. Tell them that they are important. They are the people who are going to make a big change. And once you convince them and train them, the second part becomes easy. Next challenge is confusing training impact with other factors. We understand an organization is not only to train and understand the training and evaluation. For us, what is important is the final output, that is the organization's performance. But without this, that is not possible. So use multiple data points and you try to triangulate the findings, and then it will have an impact which is easy to measure. The last challenge here is inconsistent application across teams. Yes, we understand. As I told you, the interest with which you start to the interest with which you end need not be the same. But this is where the reinforcement strategies come for help, and they provide ongoing support. So we understand the linking level 3 to other Kirkpatrick levels is also vital. How do you do this? Please note, level 1, as you said, reaction, shows satisfaction but does not predict behavioral change. Level 2 is learning. Whether there is a change in behavior comes at level 3. Learning is only whether you have understood the knowledge which is being given. Level 3, it confirms application of learning in the real world. And level 4 is where you are having a behavioral change which is dependent and sustained. So when we are having all these understandings, we need to know when we are speaking about this learning and the level 3 of learning, we are having these things which are very vital. First, involve managers from the start. As I told you, otherwise we are going to miss out on many things. Second, focus on key high impact behaviors. Impact behavioral aspects which are very important, focus on them. Keep tools simple and repeatable. Measure over time the track progress. I told you it will take a lot of time. When you're collecting data, combine qualitative and quantitative data, it becomes easy for you to understand the change in behavior. And lastly, align behavioral change with performance goals, because that is very, very vital. You're having the training given in the organization not only to see that you're having a good employee, but you need to have a good output for the organization. So kindly align the behavioral change with performance goals of the organization. Then only we have the best possible training and evaluation. So when we speak about training, please note there are indicators, there are tools. Your best way is how do you merge the indicators with the tools. This is the entire chapter speaking on what are the indicators for behavioral change, how do you bring in those indicators possible in your training, and how do you solve the training into expected behavior. So what is the training on? It is conflict management for team leaders. If this is your training, what is your expected behavior? You want to reduce the conflicts professionally. Conflicts have to be less. So what are the indicators? Indicators are listen, reflect, resolve with these strategies. Or maybe you are going to involve interpersonal conflicts which have been reduced. Manager reports increased confidence in handling disputes. These are the indicators. And the tools are checklist, surveys, manager feedbacks. You have to just link the indicators with the tools and have the level 3 training of Kirkpatrick, that is behavioral change. Coming to the fourth one, last one, which is nothing but the tools and instruments of measuring behavioral change and transfer of learning. What are the tools? We all know about it. This is what you are knowing very clearly. The tools are behavioral change surveys, Likert scale, checklist for managers, which we are knowing very well, interview guides, how to do it, what to do, and how better are you going to go further, mobile feedback apps, use of technology in no, assessing, observational forms, and training transfer questionnaires, TTQ. Questionnaires which will identify the training transfers. With this, I have done justice to module 6. Tools and instruments are also being spelled, but they have been taught to you in the earlier modules. And with this, we come to know that change is the key, and change is always certain, and change is the only thing that is there ahead of us. With this, I have finished the module 6. If there are any questions and queries, please let me know. I will be giving you the explanation for your queries. Once again, you need to have a link between the first and the fifth chapter. Then we can go to the sixth chapter. I told you these are the first 5 modules: training, evaluation plans, methods or tools, training data, as well as how do you present the evaluation results. This is what we have done. This is training evaluation. From the sixth chapter, it goes to effectiveness. How do you measure the behavioral change and transfer of learning? Then other things. I know initially today you'll feel a little mismatch because the first 5 chapters have to be recollected and then gone. If I do that, it will take a lot of time. But I think so in the next chapter again, I'll do it for you. Next class. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I know today it was a little high for you. Connection becomes difficult. Connecting becomes difficult. Um, but other things, if there are any queries, I'll take it up. Did you understand what is a behavioral change?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Did you understand what is a transfer of learning from one level to another when training takes place? Yes, okay. If you have understood these 2 concepts, behavioral change and transfer of learning, you have to also note the behavioral change is identified by indicators. This word is not there in module 6. You have to identify that behavioral change is identified with the help of indicators. Indicators are nothing but certain small changes which you find in individuals which lead to behavioral change. For example, if you are having an interest to say that, okay, from today, I will be giving more time and have a small meditation being done, and you get up early in the morning, that is an indicator. That's an indicator. Indicator is nothing but how better it will help you to have that change in behavior. Okay. Did you identify these learning transfers? Positive, negative, zero, near and far?
Yes.
So out of the 5, which is the best type of transfer?
Positive.
Positive, okay. Best, number 1 transfer.
Ma'am, just I have a query
Yes.
that see in public sector organization and government services, everyone knows that more than 50% people are not working. And in spite of a lot of training sessions given to them on the behavioral change, motivation, and just application to work, no change is taking place.
Yes.
Then how to do the behavioral change?
Very good, sir. The answer is already there in this, which I have given to you in one form or the other. I'll just show it to you where it is. Mhm. One thing that is very much needed is here. Okay. I've seen it somewhere. I'll just show it to you. Okay. I understand your question. The first thing that is needed is the type of culture which is there. You can't change the culture through training, sir. You can only influence it. You can't have a drastic change in the culture, but you can influence it. It becomes very difficult to bring in that change because that is not there in their DNA. For example, if my concept is to change very continuously, possible in the private sector, a little challenging in the public sector. I also work in the public sector, so I know what you're speaking. It is very difficult to bring in that mental status because the structuring is like that. First thing is, let us have small changes. The small changes over a period of time will change. But if you go with the notion that I can't do anything with these people, we can't do anything with those people. It is tough. I understand, sir. It is very tough. But how best are you going to bring in that one small change, behavioral change, and then having that impact, particularly in the government sector? Sir, I have been given no, to train the new coming guest faculty and teachers. I'm finding it very difficult, as what you say, because their mindset is I will not change. But still, we need to bring in that small change. A big transformation is difficult at the initial stages. Let's start somewhere. But if we are going with the concept that these people cannot change, then our training can never be successful.
No, ma'am.
Yes.
Some people are changing for a small period of time. After that, their peers are telling, what are you doing? Why you are doing work? And
Culture,
then
sir. That's what I
they are
said. The
bringing back.
culture.
Then again, the behavior comes to the same.
Same pattern, culture. The change of culture is so important and so vital. So people who are the influencers there in that culture, and another only one thing that can help you is you need to take the top management into your frame when you're giving this change. The top management must be with you, sir. If the top management is with you, then you can bring in that change.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. Blessings from the top management and they being with you over in the training and the change period. It's a big impact, but otherwise it's not possible.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Anything else,
Thank
please?
you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ma'am, in
Yes.
continuation with the same question only, this is for the government servants, right? But what if we're dealing with the students, right? Gen Alpha, I mean Gen Zs, and the generation that's going on and on. So because they have a very clear set in the mind that whatever has been, the way they are thinking is very correct and very precise, and whatever we are telling them, we are embedding something, of our morals and. So that's why I believe that how can we, convince them no, I mean.
I will totally endorse, ma'am, but let us understand one DNA there. In the government sector, I don't want to change. Okay? But with students, I don't know if I should change. Because I am right, I am fine, I am perfect. This is with the students of the present generation. What I know is right, and this much is more than enough for me. They don't think long term, they don't understand the long term aspects. But if you can give them something called as from long to short, they will understand it. But for that, patience is very difficult for them to give them the full picture of life and then say this, they will be with you. But if you're saying do it, get it, lit it, they will never. They will never. They want to understand the full aspect as to why am I doing it, what will I get from doing it, then only they will do it. Otherwise, they will not. So you need to give them the entire elaboration. See, this is what is the entire intention is. And for this is important. So from long, bring it short, and then they will do it. Otherwise, it's difficult, man.
Ma'am, we have example of JNU.
Yes.
There is no change. They are always, every now and then, they are doing anti-social.
Coming in the papers for the not so good reasons.
Yeah. And management is
But
trying, but
long time back, sir, JNU was the best.
yeah, it was best.
Best. That is where. So there will be, some. The only thing is, if you can give them a very bad example as to how the best became worst, and if they are going on this, sir, telling the truth is also very important, but how you tell it is also matters. You have to give them some example where the best became the worst by doing these things, and then only they will learn with case studies.
So they are seeing the cases. Some of the people have JNU has been arrested on and this Desdro and all that. But still, the same is being continued.
Another thing could be, sir, I am not involved in that. The thinking of certain people will be, it is not me. It is not me. It is my organization. I understand, but that affinity towards organization, if it is less, it may be one of the reason, but I'm not very sure about it. But this would happen, sir.
Ma'am, first I would like to ask one questions.
Yes, please.
I'm associated with one of the largest group companies. I think here there is a very, oldest employee. They are working since 30 years and 24 years and 20 years. Okay. In my assistant and in colleagues. But they have, some mindset. They have some mindset. This is the practice. We cannot change the practice.
Yes.
ये पहले से चलता आ रहा है, इसको हम नहीं चेंज कर पाएंगे.
Correct.
ठीक है. तो अभी कल का जैसे इंसिडेंट था, कल का क्या है कि एक कॉन्ट्रैक्ट लेबर का अमेंडमेंट करना था. तो
Okay.
उसमें क्या है कि उसमें ग्रासिम इंडस्ट्री के जो है ना, वो डायरेक्टर हैं, जो ऑक्यूपायर्स हैं, उनका था. और लेके चला गया साइट हेड का साइन कराने. और साइट हेड बोला नहीं, पहले मुकेश का करा के फिर लेके आओ मेरे पास. मेरे पास ले आया. बोला ऐसे तो चलता है. दूसरा पेपर भी साथ में लेके आते हैं. दूसरा पेपर साथ में लेके आते हैं. तो मैंने, मुझे दिखाया, तो मैंने बोला कि आपने तो पहले बताया नहीं. बिहेवियर चेंज की बात कर रहा है, इसमें बिहेवियर
Correct.
आएगा. तो मैंने बोला आपने तो पहले इसको करने के पहले तो बताया नहीं, इसको तो फिर करके चेंज हो जाएगा ये. तो बोले नहीं नहीं सर, ये तो पहले से प्रैक्टिस चला रहा है, तो वो 58 साल से कंपनी है, ऐसे ही आ रहा है. बोले यार, अक्कू पायर की जगह पर आप वो फैक्ट्री मैनेजर का साइन कैसे करा पाएंगे. तभी तो उन्होंने बोला कि मुकेश का साइन लो. अब मेरा साइन करने का मतलब मैं तो नहीं करूंगा. फिर वो बंदा ने करना शुरू कर दिया. अब मेरे तो ठीक है, आई हैव डन एमबीए एंड बहुत सारे क्लासेस किए, लेकिन जब बिहेवियर चेंज की बात है, उस बंदे को समझाते समझाते मेरा खुद बिहेवियर लॉस हो गया. मैंने उसके पेपर को फेंका. मैंने बोला जाके तुम मेरे ऊपर, जैसे एफएच है, तो मैंने बोला एफएच का साइन कराओ. ठीक है. चिल्लाया खूब तेज से उसके. और जब चिल्लाया तो गया साहब के पास, बोला कि अरे साहब तो गुस्सा आ गया और पेपर फेंक दिए, बोले साइन नहीं करूंगा, और डांट रहे थे. तो थोड़ा सा क्या होता है कि इन दैट मोमेंट हाउ वी कैन मैनेज, क्योंकि सामने वाला बिहेवियर जैसे बिहेवियर है, उस हिसाब से रिएक्ट कर पास प्रैक्टिस है. और हमारा क्या है
तो
कि यंगेस्ट मैनेजर है ना. हम तो 30 इयर्स के इस पे डिपार्टमेंट हेड करते करते क्या है, इस लेवल के 54 ईयर एज एंड 58 ईयर्स एज बंदे हमारे अंडर में काम किए हुए हैं. तो थोड़ा ऐसे पीपल को हाउ वी कैन मैनेज, हाउ वी कैन
sir,
चेंज देयर
behavioral
बिहेवियर.
change, when I say, one thing is of great help to you is if you
हम्म.
are having certain, particularly in the format that you have told,
हम्म.
कोई रूल रेगुलेशन होता है ना सर, एक फॉर्मेट होता है ना उसका,
हम्म.
अगर आप उसी को फॉलो करें, जो भी है, जो कैसे
हम्म.
भी बोले कि ये पहले सा चला आ रहा है ऐसा कुछ, आप डोंट रिएक्ट, you just
हम्म.
respond. Never
हम्म.
react, sir. You just respond and say, this is the rule, this is how the
हम्म.
procedure is, please follow the procedure. दूसरा
हम्म.
बात ही मत कीजिए आप, सिर्फ उनको
हम्म.
प्रोसीजर बोलिए, तो वो
हम्म.
ठीक हो जाएगा. क्योंकि
हम्म.
जब पहले से चला आ रहा है ऐसा तो कुछ भी हो सकता है, पर जो भी रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशंस है ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस के, उसका एक स्ट्रक्चर होता है ना, वो आप
हम्म.
फॉलो करेंगे तो कोई भी कुछ भी बोल नहीं सकता आपको.
हम्म.
ऑलवेज ऑलवेज.
They are good in skills, but they are not willing to do something, something new, something change.
करेक्ट करेक्ट
हम्म.
करेक्ट 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 करेक्ट. उतना आसानी से बेंड और फ्लेक्सिबल नहीं होते हैं वो. समझ
Okay,
में आया?
thank you.
यस सर, यस यस. इज इट फाइन? So that was today's. Next, no, Sunday we will meet. I know it's a little difficult to sit in the afternoon, but let's make it a little interesting. So change ahead, and that is module 7 coming up next week. Is it okay? Thank you very much for your time, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am.
Please read, at least go through once the material. If you go through the material, it becomes very easy for me and you will understand it much easier. So requesting you kindly go through from module 1 to 6. Next class, I will again redo it for you. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, sirs. Thank you, madams. Thank you.